I exhale, trying to reopen my eyelids. They flicker violently, unable to stay in one place. I pry them open with my shaky fingers. Everywhere hurts. My nose runs with blood and snot as the air is strangely hot, sticking to my body like glue. I roll over and push my chin down in my chest, trying to pull myself up. I can't feel my legs. I thump and hit them mercilessly, but it feels like they're not even there. I'm on the road somewhere. I don't know where, and I don't know why or how. I can sense danger. The road is narrow, covered in little pieces of gravel that press onto the raw skin of my arms. The ground beneath me feels almost living. It is the unnatural warmth to it. It makes me squirm. There is no wind or breeze to soothe my slowing roasting body. The oven like in its temperature, air. I'm already caked in sweat. If I squint, I can make a steep, rounded hills lurking miles away, blanketed by the fog. Other than that, the landscape is flat, grassy, stretching for as far as I can see. No animals, no people, just silence of the taste of copper. My lips are dry and swollen, and my tongue feels like a slug in my mouth. I try screaming for help, but all comes out as quiet, garbled whisper. Around an hour passes, my vision fades in and out, and the blood slides down my throat, only to come gargling back up again. It tastes putrid and sour like acid. One singular memory suddenly clears my mind. It is my 65th anniversary today. I have no idea what the occasion it may be. My hopes surge as I hear the wheeze of a car engine coming down the road. A few seconds later, it rolls out of the fog, a navy blue black Packard Clipper, its headlights beaming down at me like the light of God himself. It comes to an abrupt stop a few feet away, and I can see the driver, middle-aged man, peering down at me, checking if he was hallucinating. I beg for help with my eyes, and he steps out of the car, rushing down towards my broken body. The man kneels at my shattered hip. Panic flashes in his eyes, and his face is red and conflicted. His clothes are similar to mine, albeit a lot of less bloody. Suspenders and unbuttoned shirt, like an LA detective. He pauses and glances around at nothing particular. Then, back at the driver's seat, and even in my condition, I can tell what he's thinking. The man mumbles something unintelligible, places under his hands and under my armpits, and hoists me upwards, dragging me towards the car door. I push out a garbled thank you, and the car packed full of boxes, piling up to the ceiling in some places, and with the only middle seat unoccupied and no arm or leg room to speak of, the man crams me into the empty space and jumps into the driver's seat, almost slamming the door on his foot in haste. The car's engine coughs itself back to life, and the tires crunch against the gravel as we set off. I shrink down in my seat, trying to hide from the blinding pain. The man darts his eyes to me as he U-turns back down the road, fishing out a map and a bottle of alcohol from the glove box. He rapidly unfolds the map and begins to trace a pathway with his finger. The bottle of alcohol is placed on my lap, although I imagine the man wants me to pour it onto my wounds. I crack open the top and take a powerful swig, struggling to stay conscious. It tastes disgusting. I reached over to a box and pulled out a handful of dirty tissues, now bloody dirty tissues. They sink a little into my wounds, quickly becoming moist. Neither of us had said anything to each other until the man decides to speak up. "Don't pressure on the wound," he mumbles. I almost didn't hear him. He speaks with a heavy accent, though. I can't place it where from. Germany? Russia, perhaps? More minutes pass. I kept a hand planted firmly on my left hip, fingers rushing deep into its opening. The window roller handle jiggles gently in my grasp. I am unable to find the strength to pull around. The man seems lost. He worriedly gazes on the map every few seconds, squinting and cursing under his breath. I see the symbol of a hospital at the end of his finger, but the road is stretching on a perfectly straight for what seems like miles. It didn't look like we were getting anywhere at all. The fog is still smeared along the hills as far away in the thick clumps. Half-dried blood stained on my teeth. My head bobs back and forth. I try to spit out my tissues but miss and dribble the saliva down my chin. Trying to stay awake, I periodically pinch my side, making my eyes twitch and flutter once more. "What were you doing out there?" I groggily asked the man. He replies. "You seem lost, but the road is just one straight line. Which way did you come from? How did you even get here in the first place?" The man pauses, an anxious stare caught in his eyes. I begin to wish I never asked. His face fills with worry, and he shakes off my question and turns back to the map. Even more time passes and something unidentifiably feels very wrong. I catch occasional glimpses and movements at the fog. At first just small glimmers of light that faded within an instant. But the further we travel, the worse they got. I could tell the man sees him too, just pretending he doesn't. His face is still bright red, and his bloodshot eyes stay bolted to the windshield. The map slips from the man's lap. I glance upon it, and it confirms my suspicion. It makes no geological sense. There is no roads that straight that long. Where are we supposed to be? "Have you tried the radio?" I blurt out. "No," the man replies. "No, I have not." With a shaky hand, he presses the large button on the dashboard. There is a small crackle, and then for a moment, it seemed to come alive. The spark of joy in our hearts crushed, however, when a blanketing buzz of static drowns out anything being that could possibly heard. Frowning, the man turns off the radio, replacing the buzz with a depressing silence. My body feels warm and heavy, yet I cannot sleep. It feels like I should have bled out by now. But still my wounds would trickle like a steady river. The pain is just as strong as it was when I woke up, maybe worse. The fog's movements are increasingly in frequency. They are possible to ignore now. Worse, it seems to be closing in on us. It's approaching from all angles, little by little, making the car feel even more claustrophobic. The man utters a continuous string of profanities in his native language, getting increasingly tense as the minutes pass and the fog gets closer. Just a few extra feet from where it was minutes ago. Within the hour, it's mere inches away from the road. Breathing heavily, the man eases slowly off the accelerator, letting the car roll to a stop. He gently moves his hands away from the wheel. I raise an eyebrow while his face freezes in sheer terror. "Why we have—" "Shh, shh, shh," he interrupts, placing a finger to his lips. "Why have we stopped?" I continue, in a much quieter voice. "You don't see it?" he whispered. "Right in that fucking fog over there." The man jabs a stiff finger to the spot just ahead of the car on our left. I lean in for a closer look, still not being able to make anything out. I just saw it. Some sort of massive fucking thing. 3 times the height of the car, easily. For what feels like days, we stare at the fog, waiting, anticipating for anything to show up. Neither of us dare to even blink. "We're going to die out there," he speaks, his hand sliding down the side of his face. "I won't get into heaven, believe me. I'm not a good person. I did some bad things back in the war. Things that would make you sick at the sight of me. Things that would make me sick at the sight of me. We tortured prisoners. We took innocent people away from their families and friends." Silent tears slowly roll down the man's face. "What about you? Got anything you like to confess?" He turns and stares deep into my eyes, like he's examining my soul. I stuttered, struggling to form an answer. I ran over a young girl in the countryside once. Never told anyone. I was drunk. I think I was speeding. I just left her there. Oh God, she might not have. I shivered, and the man turns back to face the wheel. Maybe we'll see each other again in hell. Oh, my heart bounds and my heart is pounding in my ears. The atmosphere is unbearable. It feels like something is going to jump out at us at any moment. Back it up, I finally would speak. What? Back it up. If there's something there, we'll go the other way. It's better than just sitting there, waiting to get eaten. The man nods and places a sweaty palm on the gear shift. For a moment it seems to be hanging still. Nothing moves, not even the fog. An unholy screech ripples through my eardrums just as the car began in reverse. I clamp my hands onto my head and scream, only managing to catch a glimpse of the horrible apparition as it steps out of the fog on its bony, jagged feet and its claws twisted body towards the car. The man spins the wheel hard and puts his foot down, and the thing stomps after us, making the ground tremble. My ears won't stop ringing, even when the screaming stops and the figure disappears back into the fog behind us. There is a few seconds of peace, but it's hardly long enough to sigh through. This creature appears before us on the road again, taking up too much space to avoid. The car almost swerves straight into the fog. Instead of flipping sideways as we hit the monster's foot-like appendage, we tumbled down the gravel road, our bodies bouncing off the car's interior. The assortment of random stuff to my right and left keeps me on from moving around too much. But the man has thrown from the seat like a rag doll. At some point we lose momentum and come up to a stop upside down. The being lets out a victorious yell, violating my ears once again. I moan and crawled out of the wreckage on my hands and knees. Finally I get a decent look at what it really is. A pale humanoid figure, 2 to 3 stories tall, with bones protruding from its slightly wrapped skin, its head smooth white ball with a single dark hole, pushed so deep into the flesh. I press myself firmly on the gravel, taking shallow breaths. The monstrous same being reaches down with long finger and scrapes the ruined clipper into its palm. The man helplessly screams can still be heard inside the vehicle as the monster carries him away with the car, disappearing once again into the fog. Broken, I lay down and wait for death, but it doesn't come. The creature does not return for me, and I wail hopelessly at the sky, begging to be put out of my misery. I still can't move my legs. An overwhelming feeling of deja vu prods at my mind. Like I've lived through the experience many times. Another memory fades into my mind. Today's date is the 17th of September of 2019. Finally it all clicks. I died 65 years ago today. Once more I hear the wheeze of a car engine coming down the road. A few seconds later, it rolls out the fog, a navy blue pickguard clipper, its headlights beaming down at me like the light of God himself. What's up, my pretties? It's the Lion Queen here. I want to appreciate you all for tuning into this video, and I do appreciate you guys supporting my video by giving this video likes and stuff. If you really enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, comment and subscribe if you're new, ring the bell for notifications to when I upload so that way you guys will get updated for whenever I upload. If you want to follow me on Twitter or DeviantArt, feel free to leave a follow on those if you are interested in following me on those socials. If you want to support my backup channel, known as Ms. Dark Shigo, feel free to subscribe to it, as a link to that will also be in the About page section. And with that being said, and that being the case, thank you so much for watching, my pretties, and as always, please stay pretty.